If you are strong, appear weak. But if you are weak, appear strong. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Victory comes from finding opportunities in problems. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. It is more important to outthink your enemy than to outfight him. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. In warfare, there are no constant conditions. He who can modify his tactics in relation to his opponent will succeed and win. If a battle cannot be won, do not fight it. There is an intelligent way to eat a live frog, I just don't know what it is. Victory is reserved for those who are willing to pay its price. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. Great results can be achieved with small forces. Attack him where he is unprepared, appear where you are not expected. In all history, there is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. Only one who knows the disastrous effects of a long war can realize the supreme importance of rapidity in bringing it to a close. Those who are victorious plan effectively and change decisively. They are like a great river that maintains its course but adjusts its flow. A leader leads by example, not by force. One need not destroy one's enemy. One need only destroy his willingness to engage. All warfare is based on deception. Therefore, when capable, feign incapacity; when active, inactivity. When near, make it appear that you are far away; when far away, that you are to lure him; feign disorder and strike him. When he concentrates, prepare against him; where he is strong, avoid him. Anger his general and confuse him. Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. Correct your mistake as soon as you have found it. Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. Swift as the wind. Quiet as the forest. Conquer like the fire. Steady as the mountain. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. When the leader is morally weak and his discipline not strict, when his instructions and guidance are not enlightened, when there are no consistent rules, neighboring rulers will take advantage of this. All wars are won or lost before they are ever fought. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. A warrior who is prepared to fight must also be prepared to die. Convince your enemy that he will gain very little by attacking you. This will diminish his enthusiasm. Regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look upon them as your own beloved sons, and they will stand by you even unto death. Sweat more during peace, bleed less during war. The peak efficiency of knowledge and strategy is to make conflict unnecessary. Opportunities increase as they are taken. He who wishes to fight must first count the cost. Attack is the secret of defense. Defense is the planning of an attack. If your enemy is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength, evade him. If your opponent is temperamental, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them. If sovereign and subject are in accord, put division between them. Attack him where he is unprepared, appear where you are not expected. Kill one, terrify 1,000. One mark of a great soldier is that he fight on his own terms or fights not at all. 2. Not prepare is the greatest of crimes. To be prepared beforehand for any contingency is the greatest of virtues. Weak leadership can wreck the soundest strategy. If your enemy is superior, evade him. If you know both yourself and your enemy, you can win 100 battles without a single loss. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. If you fight with all your might, there is a chance of life, whereas death is certain if you cling to your corner. All warfare is based on deception. If your enemy is superior, evade him. If angry, irritate him. If equally matched, fight, and if not, split and reevaluate. He who knows his enemy and himself well will not be defeated easily. If it is to your advantage, make a forward move. If not, stay where you are. The clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. Attack the enemy's strategy. Attack like the fire and be still as the mountain. However desperate the situation and circumstances, don't despair. When there is everything to fear, be unafraid. When surrounded by dangers, fear none of them. When without resources, depend on resourcefulness. When surprised, take the enemy by surprise. Wait by the river long enough and the body of your enemy will float by you. Hold out baits to entice the enemy. Feign disorder and crush him. Those who are victorious plan effectively and change decisively. They are like a great river that maintains its course but adjusts its flow. They have form but are formless. They are skilled in both planning and adapting and need not fear the result of 1,000 battles, for they win in advance, defeating those that have already lost. Don't flail against the world, use it. Flexibility is the operative principle in the art of war. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. The military has no constant form, just as water has no constant shape. Adapt as you face the enemy, without letting them know beforehand what you are going to do. Ultimate excellence lies not in winning every battle, but in defeating the enemy without ever fighting. Engage people with what they expect. It is what they are able to discern and confirms their projections. It settles them into predictable patterns of response, occupying their minds while you wait for the extraordinary moment that which they cannot anticipate. These are the 6 ways of courting defeat: neglect to estimate the enemy's strength, want of authority, defective training, unjustifiable anger, non-observance of discipline, failure to use picked men. Invincibility lies in the defense, the possibility of victory in the attack. The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom. All war is based on deception. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. So the principles of warfare are: do not depend on the enemy not coming, but depend on our readiness against him. Do not depend on the enemy not attacking, but depend on our position that cannot be attacked. If fighting is sure to result in victory, then you must fight. He who relies solely on warlike measures shall be exterminated. He who relies solely on peaceful measures shall perish. In conflict, straightforward actions generally lead to engagement. Surprising actions generally lead to victory. Be where your enemy is not. When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. The line between disorder and order lies in logistics. If the enemy leaves a door open, you must rush in. The true objective of war is peace. Do not engage an enemy more powerful than you. And if it is unavoidable and you do have to engage, then make sure you engage it on your terms, not on your enemy's terms. There are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general: recklessness, which leads to destruction; cowardice, which leads to capture; a hasty temper, which can be provoked by insults; a delicacy of honor, which is sensitive to shame; over-solicitude for his men, which exposes him to worry and trouble. Unless you enter the tiger's lair, you cannot get hold of the tiger's cubs. Be subtle. Be subtle. And use your spies for every kind of business. A battle avoided cannot be lost. Concentrate your energy and hoard your strength. Pretend to be weak, so your enemy may grow arrogant. What is of supreme importance in war is to attack the enemy's strategy. If the mind is willing, the flesh could go on and on without many things. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. Thereby you can be the director of the opponent's fate. A military operation involves deception. Even though you are competent, appear to be incompetent. Though effective, appear to be ineffective. When torrential water tosses boulders, it is because of its momentum. When the strike of a hawk breaks the body of its prey, it is because of timing. When the general is weak and without authority, when his orders are not clear and distinct, when there are no fixed duties assigned to officers and men, and the ranks are formed in a slovenly haphazard manner, the result is utter disorganization. So in war, the way is to avoid what is strong, and strike at what is weak. Agitate him and ascertain the pattern of his movement. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. The expert in battle seeks his victory from strategic advantage and does not demand it from his men. The successful person has unusual skill at dealing with conflict and ensuring the best outcome for all. To fight and conquer in all our battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. What is essential in war is victory, not prolonged operations. When the position is such that neither side will gain by making the first move, it is called temporizing ground. Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. The difficult things in this world must be done while they are easy. The greatest things in the world must be done while they are still small. For this reason sages never do what is great, and this is why they achieve greatness. Know thy enemy and know thyself, and you will win 100 battles. When I have won a victory, I do not repeat my tactics, but respond to circumstances in an infinite variety of ways. Humble words and increased preparations are signs that the enemy is about to advance. Violent language and driving forward as if to the attack are signs that he will retreat. You can prevent your opponent from defeating you through defense, but you cannot defeat him without taking the offensive. You cannot know if you will be successful or not. You can only prepare for battle, and it must be done with all of your heart and with all of your consciousness. In that manner, you will have an edge. Every battle is won before it is fought. Those who do not know the plans of competitors cannot prepare alliances. Those who do not know the lay of the land cannot maneuver their forces. Those who do not use local guides cannot take advantage of the ground. The nature of war is constant change. Management of many is the same as management of few. It is a matter of organization. No ruler should put troops into the field merely to gratify his own spleen. No general should fight a battle simply out of pique. If you follow the enemy's shifts and changes, you can always find a way to win. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. Probe him and learn where his strength is abundant and where deficient. Thus the expert in battle moves the enemy, and is not moved by him. When strong, avoid them. If of high morale, depress them. Seem humble to fill them with conceit. If at ease, exhaust them. If united, separate them. Attack their weaknesses. Emerge to their surprise. All warfare is based on deception. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. Thus those skilled in war subdue the enemy's army without battle. They conquer by strategy. Winning isn't enough. The acme of all skill is to defeat your enemy before taking the field. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not, will be victorious. The skillful employer of men will employ the wise man, the brave man, the covetous man, and the stupid man. In war, numbers alone confer no advantage. Do not advance relying on sheer military power. Know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. Those who would wage war should first eliminate all domestic enemies before proceeding to attack the external foe. One defends when his strength is inadequate, he attacks when it is abundant. What the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. Rewards for good service should not be deferred a single day. Weigh the situation, then move. The opportunity to secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands. He who wishes to fight must first count the cost. When you engage in actual fighting, if victory is long in coming, then men's weapons will grow dull and their ardor will be dampened. If you lay siege to a town, you will exhaust your strength. First learn to become invincible, then wait for your enemy's moment of vulnerability. In desperate position, you must fight. When you know both yourself as well as your competition, you are never in danger. To know yourself and not others gives you half a chance of winning. Knowing neither yourself or your competition puts you in a position to lose. The height of strategy is to attack your opponent's strategy. Go into emptiness, strike voids, bypass what he defends, hit him where he does not expect you. The enemy's spies who have come to spy on us must be sought out, tempted with bribes, led away and comfortably housed. Thus they will become double agents and available for our service. It is through the information brought by the double agent that we are able to acquire and employ local and inward spies. It is owing to his information, again, that we can cause the doomed spy to carry false tidings to the enemy. In war, practice dissimulation and you will succeed. Begin by seizing something which your opponent holds dear, then he will be amenable to your will. He will win who, prepared himself, waits to take the enemy unprepared. So a military force has no constant formation, water has no constant shape. The ability to gain victory by changing and adapting according to the opponent is called genius. Keep their friends close and their enemies closer. One who speaks deferentially but increases his preparations will advance. One who speaks belligerently and advances hastily will retreat. If the enemy opens the door, you must race in. Prohibit the taking of omens, and do away with superstitious doubts. Then, until death itself comes, no calamity need be feared. He who knows things, and in fighting puts his knowledge into practice, will win his battles. He who knows them not, nor practices them, will surely be defeated. And therefore those skilled in war bring the enemy to the field of battle and are not brought there by him. If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. He who exercises no forethought but makes light of his opponents is sure to be captured by them. There are roads which must not be followed, armies which must not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged, positions which must not be contested, commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. Set the troops to their tasks without imparting your designs. The skillful tactician may be likened to the Shuaijian. Now the Shuaijian is a snake that is found in the Chang Mountains. Strike at its head, and you will be attacked by its tail. Strike at its tail, and you will be attacked by its head. Strike at its middle, and you will be attacked by head and tail both. The value of time, that is of being a little ahead of your opponent, often provides greater advantage than superior numbers or greater resources. Hence the saying, one may know how to conquer without being able to do it. Nothing is more difficult than the art of maneuvering for advantageous positions. Rely not on the likelihood of the enemy's not coming, but on our own readiness to receive him. Those skilled in attack move as from above the ninefold heavens. Thus they are capable both of protecting themselves and of gaining complete victory. In war, then, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. To subdue an enemy without fighting is the greatest of skills. One whose troops repeatedly congregate in small groups here and there, whispering together, has lost the masses. One who frequently grants rewards is in deep distress. One who frequently imposes punishments is in great difficulty. One who is at first excessively brutal and then fears the masses is the pinnacle of stupidity. Peace proposals unaccompanied by a sworn covenant indicate a plot. Weak leadership can wreck the soundest strategy. Forceful execution of even a poor plan can often bring victory. Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. When the soldiers stand leaning on their spears, they are faint from want of food. Energy may be likened to the bending of a crossbow, decision to the releasing of a trigger. Move not unless you see an advantage, use not your troops unless there is something to be gained, fight not unless the position is critical. Confront them with annihilation, and they will then survive. Plunge them into a deadly situation, and they will then live. When people fall into danger, they are then able to strive for victory. If our soldiers are not overburdened with money, it is not because they have a distaste for riches. If their lives are not unduly long, it is not because they are disinclined to longevity. For the wise man delights in establishing his merit, the brave man likes to show his courage in action, the covetous man is quick at seizing advantages, and the stupid man has no fear of death. Throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape, and they will prefer death to flight. If they will face death, there is nothing they may not achieve. There are 3 ways in which a ruler can bring misfortune on his army: by commanding the army to advance or to retreat, being ignorant of the fact that it cannot obey. This is called hobbling the army. By attempting to govern an army in the same way as he administers a kingdom, being ignorant of the conditions which obtain in an army. This causes restlessness in the soldiers' minds. By employing the officers of his army without discrimination, through ignorance of the military principle of adaptation to circumstances. This shakes the confidence of the soldiers. He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all its ranks. No ruler should put troops into the field merely to gratify his own spleen. No general should fight a battle simply out of pique. If it is to your advantage, make a forward move. If not, stay where you are. Anger may in time change to gladness, vexation may be succeeded by content. But a kingdom that has once been destroyed can never come again into being, nor can the dead ever be brought back to life. When you shoot a bow and arrow, you aim at the clouds, not because you expect to hit them, but so that you may reach the distant target on the ground. Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted. It is the business of a general to be quiet and thus ensure secrecy, upright and just, and thus maintain order. When one treats people with benevolence, justice, and righteousness, and reposes confidence in them, the army will be united in mind and all will be happy to serve their leaders. The essential factor of military success is speed, that is taking advantage of others' unpreparedness or lack of foresight, their failure to catch up, going by routes they do not expect, attacking where they are not on guard. This you cannot accomplish with hesitation. Hiding order beneath the cloak of disorder is simply a question of subdivision. Concealing courage under a show of timidity presupposes a fund of latent energy. Masking strength with weakness is to be effected by tactical dispositions. If the enemy has occupied them before you, do not follow him, but retreat and try to entice him away. Of old, the expert in battle would first make himself invincible and then wait for his enemy to expose his vulnerability. Perfection in war lies in so sapping your opponent's will that he surrenders without fighting. Attack where he is unprepared, sally forth when he does not expect you. Who does not know the evils of war cannot appreciate its benefits. Therefore the skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without any fighting. He captures their cities without laying siege to them. He overthrows their kingdom without lengthy operations in the field. All war is deception. Rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness, make your way by unexpected routes, and attack unguarded spots. When the enemy is relaxed, make them toil. When full, starve them. When settled, make them move. Act after having made assessments. The one who first knows the measure of far and near wins. This is the rule of armed struggle. All men can see these tactics whereby I conquer, but what none can see is the strategy out of which victory is evolved. Subtle and insubstantial, the expert leaves no trace. Divinely mysterious, he is inaudible. Thus he is master of his enemy's fate. Unhappy is the fate of one who tries to win his battles and succeed in his attacks without cultivating the spirit of enterprise, for the result is waste of time and general stagnation. When the common soldiers are too strong and their officers too weak, the result is insubordination. When the officers are too strong and the common soldiers too weak, the result is collapse. The control of a large force is the same principle as the control of a few men. It is merely a question of dividing up their numbers. The good fighter is able to secure himself against defeat, but cannot make certain of defeating the enemy. Generally, management of many is the same as management of few. It is a matter of organization. And to control many is the same as to control few. This is a matter of formations and signals. It is through the dispositions of an army that its condition may be discovered. Conceal your dispositions, and your condition will remain secret, which leads to victory. Show your dispositions, and your condition will become patent, which leads to defeat. On dispersive ground, therefore, fight not. On facile ground, halt not. On contentious ground, attack not. On open ground, do not try to block the enemy's way. On the ground of intersecting highways, join hands with your allies. On serious ground, gather and plunder. In difficult ground, keep steadily on the march. On hemmed-in ground, resort to stratagem. On desperate ground, fight. Do not press an enemy at bay. Prince Fu Chai said, "Wild beasts, when at bay, fight desperately." How much more is this true of men? If they know there is no alternative, they will fight to the death. The art of war is self-explanatory, therefore a victorious army first wins and then seeks battle, a defeated army first battles and then seeks victory. If you are strong, appear weak.